Hi everybody and welcome to my craft room tour. Now this is a video that's been requested by a few people. I'm really excited to show you everything that I have in my craft room. Not necessarily everything that you may need, but maybe a few things that you might want to get. I'm going to start off with my kind of workspace tour. Now this is obviously where I do a lot of my work. I film a lot of my videos here. So I have my articulating arm that I use to put my camera on so that you guys can see what I'm doing from the top down. I have my TV so that number one, I can watch Netflix while I craft. And number two, when I'm doing live videos, I can see the chat. So if you see me looking up, that's what I'm looking at. Then I also have little trays underneath this little table thingy that I've had built. It's literally just a piece of wood on a few legs, and it gives me additional storage, and I store all of my tools and things like that here. I have, projects that I have made and haven't used. But then I also have things like wet wipes, glues, sellotapes, alcohol spray. In all honesty, I haven't really sorted this out very well, so I should actually at some point go through it and make sure that everything is in the correct containers. Like having all of the adhesives in one container would be useful, because obviously I have a lot of different types of glue. I mean, I've got this mono liquid glue which dries sticky, and then I also have my dual bond glue which I use pretty much all the time, and contact glue and a whole bunch of other different kinds of glue, because obviously you need different glues for different projects. But at the moment they're kind of all just sitting in one container. And here I have some camera equipment, like I've got a little tripod that I use sometimes, a little cell phone holder thingy, and an unfinished project which I like to keep in this little container, because then I keep all of the little bits together, so that I find that really helps. And then I have another container for other little projects that I'm working on. This was a lot of the Halloween type stuff, which Halloween was yesterday and I actually forgot that it was there, so my bad. And then the last container is quite far on the one side, and in this container I pretty much just keep a lot of like electrical cables and things like that, like USB cables, a project that I made for a client. It says happy 21st, you can't really quite see it, there we go, and a whole bunch of other electrical projects that I wanted to finish, but well, haven't. On top of the stand, of course, have my little containers with a whole bunch of different things in it. These kind of look like a mess, and they are. I mean, I've got how many pairs of scissors? 1, 2, 3 pairs of scissors in here. That's not even all of the pairs of scissors that I have. And I've got, 4 different rulers, because apparently we need to have 4 different rulers in the same container. I have 2 craft knives, 3 craft knives. This is for 5 craft knives in here, because we totally need to have all of them in the same container at all times. Makes sense. It's useful to have my little box of tools, so I know that if I'm looking for something specific, like a weeding tool or another craft knife or my spatula lifter thingy, then it's all here, and I know that I always have to just go to this little container to find what I'm looking for. My alcohol swabs, never far away from these. These are a lifesaver. All my Cricut pens, my paint brushes, and then that's just pretty much pens and pencils. And then I like to keep some offcut sticker paper from things that I've done on the side. They're just for if I need an extra piece of sticker paper or something like that. Then I have some offcuts. I should probably put that in my adhesive vinyl offcut folder, now that I think about it. But oh well. And then in this corner I have my dying plant, because I don't think that it gets enough light in this room, so I probably need to take it to a different room to let it recover. Then I have a fake plant, because that one will never die. I'm terrible at keeping plants alive. So this thing's actually something that I set up a little while ago. It's actually a Perspex makeup palette holder, but I like to keep my books and things like that in there, because I like to write down a lot of things. Like I've already got my 2022 journal. Yes, I know I'm jinxing it by buying a journal. And I have various notebooks that I like to use. Like when it comes to making videos, I try and do an outline of the video in this book. This was a project that I'm working on that you'll probably see very soon on the channel. Some motivational books, Keep Going by Austin Kleon, and then I have Show Me Your Work, also by Austin Kleon. They're nice little motivational creative books that I have half read one of them and still need to read them both. So it's probably a good thing for me to get reading. And then of course in the corner here you can see my vision board. Now this is things that I have put up on the board that maybe are goals for me, things that I want to achieve. I find it very useful to keep an eye on them and to see and make sure that I'm actually tracking my goals and the things that I want to achieve. And then here is my computer setup. So I've got 2 screens, as you can see. It's very useful to have them at all times. My keyboard and another little desk table thingy, so that if I want to work in front of my computer, I can just pop my keyboard out of the way, and then I have a whole bunch of extra space at the bottom to work on. There are also currently some other journals and things like that that I have underneath. I like to keep track of, you know, tasks and things like that that I have to do, so I try and write them down in this one. And then this one is pretty much just like more of a business journal, so I have, you know, a whole bunch of list of topics that I want to do for videos. As you can see, I've got tons and tons of ideas, things that I want to plan for the future. I actually also ended up sketching out the entire of my Patreon setup in this book as well. So, you know, my Patreon has certain advantages, certain things that they get in addition to the YouTube videos that I release every week. So we'll have, you know, monthly video calls, lives on YouTube, exclusive lives. We'll also do a monthly theme, a monthly challenge, and a monthly podcast as well. So if you are interested in joining my Patreon, I'll put a link down in the description below. Then of course on this side of the room, I'm sure you'll know, you know, the cupboards in the back, and I use these for a lot of storage. So I'm not really exposing myself with this cupboard because this cupboard is still relatively clean after my organization video that I did. If you're looking for the link to that, I will link it up in the top. But in this cupboard, you'll see I have all of my paper things, foam, and then packaging at the back. And this one's a little bit more of a mess. We have Yupo paper and alcohol inks and things like that over there, and then some sublimation things at the back there. And then we have, you know, some paints on this side, miscellaneous beading items, and then some polymer clay related tools at the back there. And then of course other projects that I need to do and items that I don't really use all the time that I store in there. And now onto the fun side of the tour, which I'm pretty sure most of you have been waiting for. So we have the Wall of Glory. Now, it is easily my favorite thing in this craft room. This shelf I actually designed and had built. It was inspired by Robin at Snippy Sisters because she's got something similar in her home studio, and I absolutely loved it. I needed one for myself, so I had one built in my own colors and specifications. So we have a little motivational poster at the top. It says the sprint is saturated, the marathon is not. And that for me is kind of just something that says keep going. Even if you aren't there yet, you will get there if you persevere. That's pretty much what that means to me. And then of course we have all of the vinyls on the side in the vinyl holders, which I also got from Snippy Sisters. They're pretty much full up on either side. Mostly what I do is I put the heat transfer vinyl in the front and then the adhesive vinyl at the back. No particular reason, just I have the heat transfer vinyl in a nice color order so it looks nicer, and that's pretty much the only reason. Then we have some color changing vinyl that I haven't figured out where to put it yet. Another motivational sign, don't look back, you aren't going that way. I had originally intended to change that every month. It's been like that for like 4 months, so my bad. And here we pretty much have some journals and things like that over there. And this pen holder, which I'm going to be selling at some point because I've got pen holders on the other side, which you saw. A little 3D printed cutie. This artwork is actually something that I did in, I think it was grade 9, and it was probably one of my favorite artworks that I ever did. You had to take a picture, divide it up into little segments, and then do different art painting techniques on each different segment. So it's quite special to me. Just take that away so you can see it a little bit better. And then of course we have the Cameo 4 over here, which I have moved her so that she's in a little bit of a better spot. She was previously underneath my vision board, but I feel that this is a slightly better spot for her. And underneath and behind her I have some containers that I use for various things. Like this is going to be my slips for all the things that I buy for the channel. There's some thread in there. There's some other different types of thread in the next one. This is the letters for the letterboard. And this one is just for different pencil sets and drawing sets and things like that, as I don't need them all that often, so they can stay there. Now moving up to that. Okay, so what I have here is a whole rainbow set of Piñata alcohol inks, and then we have just some normal inks as well. And above it we have some mica powders for resin. And then just above that I've got random things that I use quite often: Mod Podge, varnish, rubbing alcohol, armor etch, blah blah blah. And then behind that we have different types of like sticky tape. I've got some decor items, some fun little 3D printed things here. There's a little Yoda holding a present, a little dinosaur, the first thing I ever 3D printed, a whole bunch of glitter. So you can see a whole rainbow color of glitter and some other fun glitter things over there. Some more little fun 3D printed benchies. They're benchmark printers, so you can test the different settings in your printer, which is great. Some Christmas baubles, some more Christmas perspex things there. These are actually bath bomb makers. So like this one's a donut, that one's just a plain ball, and then I think there's a Christmas tree at the back there. And then of course all of my different colors of foil, which look really pretty. And then as we move a little bit higher up, there are some other fun things up there. That is actually a teddy bear that I got when I was about 8 or 9. His name is Blackie. He is my favorite teddy bear. Taken him everywhere. We have some corks for a future project. Then we have the Xyron, which is a sticker maker, one of my favorite things in my craft room. Dual bond glue refill when my other smaller one gets finished. Some more mica powders, and then some other fun just decor items that I have lying around. And of course my subscribe pillow, which is really cute. And then some other fun stuff at the top there, but there's not much. And then of course we have these abominations of shelves. Now this one I use literally all the time because it's got all my paper. I keep my cutter in here, my transfer tape, and all of my folders of my scraps. So we've got adhesive vinyl scraps, heat transfer vinyl scraps, and then paper scraps. And then of course all of my cardstock and things like that in there. I am looking for another solution for that because it obviously does not work. It is an abomination, quite literally. I want to get one of those scrapbooking stacking paper thingies, but I've only kind of recently gotten into paper a little bit more, so we'll see. Editing Kelly here. Guess what I literally took delivery of today? So a huge thank you to Dre for driving all the way from Somerset West today to come and drop this off for me at lunchtime. I greatly appreciate you. I love you. Long time. And then underneath that we have like some silicone things. I'm not really sure what is in here. I haven't really gone through it in a while. I've just been avoiding it because I don't have the time at the moment. And then the bottom shelf is pretty much something else entirely. I don't know. And then again, because I've been pretty much on survival mode for the last couple of months, I haven't paid very much attention to this section either. We have pretty much storage place at this point. I do have a beautiful charcuterie board that I want to do some fun things on. I'm not going to say too much because I want to be a surprise. Some other things that I've bought that I want to be using at some point for videos. Gloves that I use all the time. So this section of the room is pretty much just things that I want to get to in the future for videos. Like I showed you the book earlier. I've got so many different ideas for videos that I want to do that I'm just not getting to because I just don't have the time, or because I need to fit so many things in at one stage. And then right underneath it I've got my alcohol ink markers, more stuff. I really need to go through this at some point and make sure that I, sort it all out. And again, just more stuff at the bottom. Pretty much the same situation. Things that I want to do for YouTube videos that I just haven't yet gotten around to doing. And now for a proper insider look. Underneath my table is kind of where I take storage a little bit to the next level. So on this side here, I've got a spare chair in my craft room, and this is my nail stuff. So I have an entire, it's actually a scrapbooking bag full of nail supplies and things like that, and then this is all of my nail polish that I have that I've kind of gathered over the years. So hence why my nails always look good, mostly because I do my own nails and I can do them whenever I want in pretty much whatever color I want. I tend to buy a new nail polish color every couple of months, so it's not like I bought that all at once. I've been gathering this over the past 4 or 5 years. And then under my desk I have my computer tower, my inkjet printer, and my sublimation printer stored underneath the desk because it's nice and easy. And I also have my self-healing mats stored here. a bin, riveting stuff, and then of course I have a massive container with all of my 3D printer filament, some miscellaneous storage items which I should probably look at getting rid of, and then I keep my heat press under the counter as well because obviously I don't have space for it up top. And of course, last but not least, we have pretty much my favorite corner in the room. Now this corner pretty much has all of my Cricut vinyl, which I like to display because it's quite pretty. It has some random things that I've made, like the doggy biscuit container that I made, which is quite cool. And of course the corner has my Cricut in it as well, so it's easily one of my favorite things in my, I mean, just look at that, that looks so cool, doesn't it? It has 1200 water bottles in this corner because I'm never far away from a water bottle. And then it has my IKEA stand at the top. So this is actually something that I got in Dublin. And all of those little things that you can see are things that you can buy for storage. Now, these ones at the bottom are actually 3D printed, which is great, so you can print some special editions for it, but it is fantastic. And then lastly, the one thing that I forgot to show you was a kind of a blade and tool organizer that I was looking for that I 3D printed a while ago. You can put all of your different blades in here, and of course for me it just ends up being a little bit of a storage place, which is very useful because it's nice to have, you know, all of your blades in one little spot. Well, I want to say thank you so much for joining me in my room tour. I hope that it was fun for you and you got to see exactly up close, you know, the kinds of things that you do normally see in my videos, which is a lot of fun. If you enjoy crafting and Cricut related type content, please subscribe to my channel for more videos in the future. Hit that notification bell if you want to be alerted the next time I release a video or go live. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I hope to see you in my next video. And remember, be kind to someone today. See you soon.